We're going to try to break down all the pieces that we like to see in a free throw routine to try to get it as consistent as possible, what I call our robot ritual for free throw shooting. So we're going to start with our approach at the free throw line and making sure we're centered, lining up your shooting side of your body with the basket line is the best way to make sure your shooting hand is on target and you can always be the same. From there, I like to use a deep breath, something I learned from shooting bow and arrow, shooting archery. Breathing in as I'm dribbling, breathing out before I take the shot. So my approach will be to receive the ball from the referee as I walk up, setting my foot center of the rim. I'm going to inhale as I take 3 dribbles, and then exhale down to my lowest point. The next piece I like to look at is where our heels are starting from. A lot of players will start either one foot or both feet off the ground on their heels, so their weight is all on their toes. They kind of got this wobble or bounce going on. They don't have a lot of stability or consistency. So starting with the heels down all the way in the floor and pushing out of that all the way to my toes, make sure I have the same amount of power every time. Anytime I see a player miss short of the rim, I'm looking at their heels first to see where they ended. Most players will get up a little bit, maybe an inch off the floor. We want to finish all the way up on our toes or finish high heels. So starting with my heels down, I'm going to push all the way up on my toes at my follow through to try to generate as much power as possible. The next piece we're going to work on is using the leverage of our upper body to try to generate more power. Because we're standing still and we don't have the advantage of a jump, using the leverage of what I call shoulders over toes here, as if there's a string from my shoulder touching the floor in front of my toe, allows me to create more power while I'm standing still. So starting at my chin again, bringing my shoulders out in front, shoulders over toes. And you can kind of exaggerate this too far until it's forcing your eyes down. So we want to calibrate until we can have eyes on the rim and still have shoulders over toes, and then shot. We start with shoulders over toes, eyes on the rim, and shot. All right, next we're going to work on the start point and then the end point of our shot. So the best place I've found to start the ball position is right under your chin. And ideally, we're getting that height of the ball, one ball width away from your shoulder. So it's out in front of you, below the level of your chin, and that allows all of your power to drive up into the ball. And then the end point I like to use is body part to body part, so we can be really specific. We're going to take our elbow to our eyebrow as we finish our follow through. Starting at our chin, finishing elbow to eyebrow. We want to work our way up. So if we have our heels and our leg power there and our shoulders forward, we're generating enough power. Most of our problems are going to be either right and left or forward and back, and it has mostly to do with our elbow. So we mentioned elbow to eyebrow. That could be in either direction. So I think about it like crosshairs. We could be missing long or missing short if our elbow is too far forward or too far back, or we could be missing right and left with our elbow side to side. So zeroing that in, elbow to eyebrow, allows us to calibrate based on where it hit the rim, where we need to adjust for that, trying to find the eyebrow every time. So I'm going to show an example of each. If I finish elbow out in front of my nose, I will hit back of the rim. If I take my elbow too far up past my ear, I'll typically hit the front rim. And then right and left, if I take my elbow across my nose, kind of covering my right eye as a right-handed shooter, I'll hit the left side of the rim. And a very common one is my free throw will go out away from me with my elbow to the side, and I'll miss to the right of the rim. So again, calibrating that back to the center is the challenge, to get elbow right to the eyebrow. The final piece at the very top of my shot is my fingers. And what I like to work on is 2-finger push. Think about it like railroad tracks where the ball is going to roll equally off of these 2 fingers. And the advantage of that is that center point between those 2 fingers lines up with the rest of my forearm. So whatever arm motion I have going on, those 2 fingers will naturally follow it. So if I start at my chin again and push off of those 2 fingers, I will be straight nearly every time and have a very systematic and simple, consistent shot motion. Some problems that will arise: I could have the ball come off of my outside pinky side of my hand. I'll get a twist and usually miss to the right. Or I could have it come off my index finger and thumb and kind of push and miss to the left. So again, calibrating that to try to get index and middle finger as my 2-finger push allows the ball to stay centered. Another thing you can do before you even receive the ball from the referee is to visualize your free throw. Some people do a practice motion with their arm. Some people close their eyes and just visualize the ball going through the basket. But there's a lot of study out there about mental practice and how effective that is for free throw shooting. One of the last pieces I like to work on is what I call our reset ritual. So if I've missed the first out of 2 free throws in a game, one of the best things I can do for myself is give myself a fresh start. So to do that, I back up. Maybe I'm tagging up my teammates. I want to take a deep breath and then reapproach the free throw line. So over time, throughout my playing career, I've gotten really good at this. Walk up, set my stance, shoot a free throw. If something's off the first time, backing up and resetting that whole process is one of the best ways to get back on track. All right, scoring game for you to challenge you to get better at free throws is what we call free throw golf. And I'm told this comes from the NBA 2K game, though I've never played it myself. If you swish a free throw, you get 3 points. If it touches the inside of the rim and in, it's 2 points. If it bounces on top of the rim or hits the backboard and in, is 1 point. Misses are worth 0. And your challenge is to take 10 shots and see how high of a score you can get. Perfect score being 30 points if you swish all 10 shots in a row. And whatever baseline you can set, maybe you're in the 10 to 12 to 15 points starting out, you can challenge yourself every day to try to increase that score. Really just focuses your attention on trying to be more precise so that you're not just happy with any make, you want to try to make swishes every time you get a chance.